Hi everyone, it's Eva Pieczak here from Abundant Results Coaching, and today I'd love to talk to you about overcoming fear when making life-changing decisions. Fear is part of our natural growth, and unfortunately it shows up when we're making the most life-changing decisions or decisions that can have a huge impact on our goals. And yet so many of us are held back by fear. The feeling of fear is so paralyzing that all you want to do is just run away from making that a decision that could actually make the most difference to you and your goals. So I want to ask you a question. Do you ever feel that you're about to do something that you know feels right for you, but you get scared and you don't do it? So what could be your examples? Maybe you wanted to invest in yourself and hire a mentor. Maybe you've even had a conversation with me and you felt, yeah, she can help me. I can totally feel that this can help me. And then all sorts of ideas come into your mind that make you question your decision. Like maybe I don't have the money for it, or I don't know where to get the money from. What if it doesn't work for me? Maybe what if my spouse says no, or what if I don't have the time for it? Or maybe you're making a decision to hire a key member of staff or for your first employee. You have a business, you know you should hire that someone, but you have all sorts of ideas in your mind, doubts and worries and fears. Maybe, will I have enough money to pay that person? Are they going to be the right fit? Or what will I do if I have to fire them at some point? And so on and so forth. Do you ever feel like you want to apply for that best possible position or a job that you know would fulfill you, but you get scared? Maybe you're about to make sales calls or prospecting calls in your business and you get scared. You're wondering, what do people think of you? What if you fail? What if you won't be able to go back to them again and you're going to have closed doors? Or maybe even you just want to invite that special someone on a date and you know that person could be the love of your life and you get cold feet. Really, do you resonate with this? Do you ever feel like the feeling is there, it's the right decision for me, I know it can help me, I know it can lead me towards my goals, and yet you don't do it? Now, if you do, I can totally relate, because that's where I was when I made the most life-changing decision for me of investing in Bob Proctor Consultancy to become a consultant. And I want to share with you this experience so that you understand and you can relate, and also you're able to overcome those fears that are natural part of you changing your life and you actually do the right thing. So when I came on the call with consultant from Bob to become part of consultancy, I remember as if it was yesterday. I'm sitting on that call and the consultant of Bob's told me the price. I just got petrified. Deep down, I felt in my gut that it's the right thing for me, and I wasn't happy with my life the way it was. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know where I was. I was sick to my stomach going to work that I didn't like, that didn't fulfill me. I was spending all the money that I earned, and I earned well, but I spent pretty much everything that I earned on fixing my self-esteem. I was petrified of speaking and reading in front of public. I wasn't even able to introduce myself at company training in front of my boss without shaking, shivering, and stuttering and running out the door. And I was in poor relationships that were just not going anywhere. That's where I was. I was heavily dissatisfied with where my life was, and I needed help. And I tried everything, you name it. You know, I have invested in all sorts of online courses. I've spent a lot of my time on YouTube clips and reading books and going to psychologists, hypnotherapists, healers, and nothing was working. That's pretty much what I was spending most of my money on, and nothing was giving me transformation in my self-esteem. And then I go on the call with Bob Proctor's consultant, who was presenting the consultancy, what I'm actually doing to me. And when I heard the price, I just got petrified. Because the price was $20,000 and I was earning €3,000 per month on hand and spending all of it on fixing my self-esteem, and nothing actually helped me. So when I went on that call, I remember I had that gut feeling, this can give me everything I want, But then right after, I had the rush of doubts and worries and fears. Like, I had thought, well, I've already invested in few qualifications. I was an English teacher and moved into finance, and nothing made me happy. How do I know that this is going to work? What if it doesn't work? Then I thought, well, I don't have that kind of money. What if what if I get it somewhere and then I won't be able to pay it off? Then I was like, what if this is not right for me? What if I'm not going to be successful? I have no clue about business, and so on and so forth. I just was going and going and going in my mind, all these things why I shouldn't do the thing that actually felt initially, it felt like this is exactly what I should do to move myself towards my goals. Now, thankfully, that inner voice was so determined that now I didn't make a decision on that first call, but I went and I did my research. And the first thing that I did, don't do that. I went off and I typed up, Bob Proctor's consultants in Ireland, and I went off on a call with each of them, whoever was trained by Bob previously, and I asked them, what do you think you should do? Now, if you've been listening to me for a while, you already know that you shouldn't be asking the wrong people for making decisions for you or advice towards your decision. You should never be asking those who haven't done what you're trying to do or accomplished what you're trying to accomplish in the way that you want to accomplish it. So those people that I asked were not successful in their businesses, and they also did some old qualification from Bob that lasted only for a week in States, and they were left on their own without support. And so the outcome of my research was that all of them, without exception, told me, don't do it. And some of them told me, come and work for me. Now, the voice inside of my heart kept saying, and now I know this was an intuition, it kept saying, no, this is for you, keep going, right? And so I think I was just looking for a confirmation that I Googled 2 thinking into results consultants in Europe, in Serbia, and in Cyprus. And when I went on the call, I've learned a huge life lesson. Both of them told me this: listen, Eva, if you feel this is right for you, the feeling is what we call intuition, not the thinking and analysis, the feeling. If you feel this is right for you, and you're willing to do what it takes, you are 100% committed, you're going to follow instructions and you're going to do whatever it takes, go and do it. And I think all I needed was that confirmation that my decision is right. Because if I went off and I asked my parents, if I asked my friends and family, everybody would tell me that I'm nuts. But people who are successful are thinking and behaving differently to majority of people. In fact, 97% of population never achieves their goals. So if you're making an important decision that can move you to whatever you want, you've got to understand that you're going against the masses. Most people settle in life, they never achieve what they want. So here's what I would like to share with you, because that decision that I've made was so life-changing, and I was so petrified, and I know you may be petrified of making your own decisions. Now, I thank God every single day that I've made my decision, and I want you to learn as well how to overcome your fear. The first thing that you need to understand is accept that every time you make a decision that can lead you towards your goal that is outside of your norm, your comfort zone, you're going to be scared. And the fear should not stop you. You should understand how to lower the fear and how to amplify what you want to happen, and then step through with your decision, with what you feel is right from the bottom of your intuition. And here's a little process that you can do in order to overcome your fear. In fact, my mentor, Bob Proctor, said that every single time he's scared, he knows he's going the right direction, because experiencing fear is actually indication that you're going outside of comfort zone. But it doesn't mean that you should retract, you should go back, you should actually go through it if the action feels like it can get you towards your big worthy goal. So here's what you do. When you're about to make a decision and you're scared, so it feels right for you, but you're scared, you're going to take a piece of paper and you're going to write down all your fears. It doesn't matter whether they're logical, illogical. Most are illogical, and most fears are just projection of your mind that is used to doing things certain way in comfort zone. Most fears are not like a lion jumping at you in a jungle or someone trying to shoot you. Most fears are not like that. They're illogical, but they're there. And so you write down exactly what are you afraid of. Well, I'm going to invest and it's not going to work for you. It's not going to be work for me. Well, what if, I'm going to go into debt? What if I'm not going to have time in my investment, I'm not going to have time to study, whatever. What if it doesn't work for me? So you write down all these fears and then you analyze them, or you make those fears smaller with 4 questions. Number 1 question: if I do this, if I make that investment or hire that employee or go out there and make those sales calls, and the worst case, my fear manifests. So let's say, it's not going to work for me. Am I going to die or go under the bridge broke? I tell you, in majority of decisions that I've made that have been difficult and scary for me, I always revert back to the worst case scenario. My worst case scenario is I'm going to end up going back home to a little hometown in Pcim in Poland, and I'm going to live with my parents and start again. That is the worst thing that can happen for me, which is actually not so bad, right? If you think about it. So I will always survive and I will never go under the bridge. So if that fear happens that you're analyzing, are you going to go broke, or are you going to go under the bridge, or are you going to die? And you're going to understand no, but your mind thinks yes. Then the next question is, when that happens, if the worst case scenario happens, what would I do to cope with this, the consequences? So what would I do if, let's say, this course or this mentor doesn't work? Well, probably you would get over it and try another one until you get results, because if you're committed, you would keep going, you would never stop. If then the third question is, what can I do today or this week that would ensure or lower the risk of me making a mistake or the negative consequences that I'm afraid of? Well, you can do research, you can do market research, you can do all sorts of things like that. And then last but not least, and this is a question that always flips my mind on taking action: what is the cost for me now of not making that decision? And the cost is emotional and financial. So for instance, if we're talking about, because I experience this fear all the time, I have people wanting to work with me and then they get scared. And they get scared because they don't think they can get the money for the course. They get scared because their spouse says no, or they get scared because they are not trusting that it's going to work for them. All sorts of reasons. And all of this is pure nonsense. Because if you have a feeling that it's going to work for you, then it is going to work for you if you take action and make an investment. But the last question, what's the cost of not doing it, is the most important. Because if you want to ask yourself, okay, well, if I don't make that investment, so for instance, I believe this mentor can help me reach my goal, and I don't make that investment, what is the cost for me? Financially, well, I may or I may never achieve my financial goals. But emotionally, well, the cost is that you may be on your deathbed having regrets about your life. Now, I would hate that vision of being on my deathbed and thinking that I played safe and I never experienced the life that I'm dreaming of. So then what you do when you analyze that all your fears, and you want to analyze each of them maybe for a week, then on another sheet of paper, you write out exactly what you want to happen. So for instance, I'm so happy and grateful now that I invested in this mentorship and I created my business, which earns 10,000 per month. And I'm finally always secure financially and always able to provide for my family and take them to Disneyland. And you keep reading that while every day you do this activity every day. So you're writing out your fears, analyzing them, making them smaller. You will notice that emotionally the fear subsides and it becomes smaller. And then on the other piece of paper, you write out in present tense what you want to happen. You do that for a week, and then you start thinking from the right place. So you don't think from emotional fear, you think from what's right for you. Now, if you ever want to ask someone for advice, make sure that you ask someone who has achieved what you're trying to achieve, and also using the methodology that you want. You do not ask your loved ones, you do not ask your friends, because as much as they love you, they cannot advise unless they've done what you're trying to do. That's the only people that can advise you. Now, whatever decision you're about to make, whether it's starting that business of yours, whether it's hiring team, making those sales calls, prospecting calls, maybe investing in a mentor, whatever it is that you're about to do and you feel is right for you, you've got to get over that analysis that produces fear and take action. Because if you don't, then you're making a decision from your present circumstances, and these present circumstances are controlled by your mentality, your paradigms, or your subconscious mind, exactly the place that is stopping you from taking action and making decision. So if you let's say don't make a decision because you don't have time, you don't have money, and so on, the circumstance becomes your goal, and you're going to have the same circumstance, not enough time, not enough money, in next 5 years, 10 years, and for the rest of your life. So you need to start making decisions from the right place and be okay with your fears, because fear is simply indicating that you're moving the right direction, you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. Now, I hope that this is of huge value for you. I know that fear often stops a lot of people even from working with me. And if you're someone who had a chat with me and you, after this exercise, you feel that I can help you and you can diminish that fear and diminish that chatterbox that tries to stop you, then I would love to invite you to invest in yourself this week. So this week we have Black Friday, this Friday, and I'm doing a special offer on my services, which means that you will receive 500 euros off if you invest by this Friday. Now, if you have some concerns, so your mind is like, okay, but I don't know where to get the money, or my spouse says no and I need help with this, then I'd love you to email me back, message me back, whether you see me on YouTube or you see me in my newsletter. Either email me back or email eva@abundantresults.com and tell me I'm in. When you do that, we will jump on the call and I will either help you jump on board with the mentorship process so that we can guarantee your results, or I will help you sort out the details or sort out your concerns so that we can do the same. Now, I tell you this, if you've been watching me for a while and you haven't made a decision because of all that mental chatter that I've experienced before my investment, then unfortunately you're keeping yourself stuck. And the same mental chatter that stops you from making that decision is stopping you from doing the right thing in your business, in your finances, in your love life to get results. So I want to invite you this week to get over that mental chatter, to do the fear exercise if you need to. And if you feel a pull to work with me, I want you to make a decision coming from where you want to be, not from where your fear says you should be. And if you're in, then I want you to message me back or email me at eva@abundantresults.com, say I'm in, and then I'll be in touch. We will get on the call and I will help you change your life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Take care.